want to get into something we haven't spoke about in a while. I feel like the thing that we all used to talk about, but then it came and it went. Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. As we know, Terrence Crawford stopped Errol Spence, put on a
Right.
magnificent performance. But now I'm hearing a lot of it's kind of like disdain for Errol activating the rematch clause. Like, oh, what are you doing it for? But it's like I feel like he's in a lose-lose situation. If you don't activate the rematch clause, oh, you're scared. Bud beat you so bad that now you're scared. But now that you activate, it's like what you activating it for? You got beat so bad, and like I agree, he got beat so bad. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
chose Errol Spence to win that fight, and boy, was I ever wrong.
So
But it's
did
like,
we. So did
but
I.
it's like as a man, what is he supposed to do?
What more do you want from me?
You know what I'm saying? If you believe in yourself, you believe in your confidence, you're confident in yourself, you believe in your skills. Like, why would you not at least try to get your get back? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so what do you think Errol's supposed to do in your opinion?
I think he should have. He a dog. Like he felt like yo, and then we don't know exactly. I'll say this, right? I don't care what no one to. No people pick Errol Spence to win. Some people pick Terrence Crawford to win. I would say Terrence Crawford was the slight favorite going into that fight, but
Mm-hmm.
no one would have guessed how dominant Terrence Crawford would have been and how he won. Right? No one predicted that. Right?
Yeah.
So and it was in a way, in a fashion that it made you question what was wrong with Errol Spence because we've never seen him like that in that light. So from Errol's perspective, right, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if there's, but clearly something was off about him that prevented him from performing to the best of his ability. But even at 100%, we don't even know if he would have been able to kind of defeat that Terrence Crawford that night, right? Regardless. So
Agreed.
in his mind, he feels like, I can't go out like that, right? I got to get my lick back, right? Anyone that has any pair of cojones on them, right? A real man, right? Even growing up, you know how we grew up, right? If you get
Yeah.
beat bad like that, you got to get it back in blood. You got to be able to get that rematch, And
Yeah.
if I lose in a closer fashion, that's way better than how I kind of left out, the last
Yeah.
time. So yeah, get your lick, try to get your lick back, even if it's at 147, right? Which is probably going to be the next topic that we want to probably discuss and
Yeah.
analyze now.
Yeah. Now I agree with you, and I think if I remember correctly, I think I had Arrow. I think I chose Arrow by split decision. I think I
Yeah.
chose. So we a lot of people. Of course, you have like diehard fans of maybe Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence who probably said, "Okay, my fighter's gonna wipe the floor." But I'm talking about like people who are just maybe like a fan of boxing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Anticipated this to be a close fight, and I think that's the most disappointing. It's not who won or who lost; it's the fact that we didn't get this tug of war battle that we thought we were going to get. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure Errol, who was confident in himself, is like, okay, nah, I'm better than that. So I got to go out to not only prove to everyone, but prove to myself that
Yeah.
I'm better than the display that I put on. So I don't see the problem with him activating the rematch clause. I don't know. I think sometimes, like I said, sometimes people are too like much. They're fans of the fighters rather than the sport, which I'm good with. Everyone's entitled to have their favorite, but I'm like, you got to at least be able to take a step back and say,
Yes.
okay, I understand why the guy wants to fight again, though.
Yes, you got to be objective as possible. But most people aren't necessarily rationally thinking human beings, right? People just
Yeah,
think, oh, people are typically self-centered and they think their opinions are way more than what other people, should feel, right? So I think
yeah,
in these cases, you do, oh no, this is what, because I said Errol Spence shouldn't even, activate the rematch clause. He shouldn't,
yeah,
rather than just he's his own man. If that's what he feels like he should do, and that was in the contract, then that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, I do want to get your thoughts on, Terrence Crawford stating that the rematch is now going to happen at 147 as opposed to 154, right? Or at a catch weight at 148 pounds, which, rumors are circulating, right?
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, on just the kind of, I guess, the switch up? Because originally during the post fight, he said 147 is hard to make. So, he wants to fight next at 154, but now he's kind of backtracking. Do you think that, Terrence Crawford's kind of using this as a way to kind of prevent Errol Spence to, officially jump in that rematch, right? Because he's no longer interested. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think he's trying to like make Errol back out. Do you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because I think he has his eye now on the Jermell Canelo fight. And it's just like, okay, this fight, at the end of the day, Terrence is like 36. Is he or turning 36 maybe this year?
Yeah, I believe so.
So
36. Yeah, 37.
so it's probably just like, okay, regardless of how one-sided the fight was, it was still a grueling training camp. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? Which means, will he take the next training camp lighter? Knowing Terrence Crawford, he probably will not, right?
Right.
So it's like that takes something out of you as well. And I'm thinking he's looking at that big money fight, that legacy fight. Like, all right, I wiped the floor with this guy. I just need to kind of like, brush this to the side and be ready for that fight. So I do think he's kind of trying to like, make the stipulations like so disadvantageous to Errol Spence. Errol's gonna be like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Probably especially that the negotiations were grueling before. Errol always said the negotiations were grueling. So it's like, all right, if I kind of make negotiations difficult again, maybe this time he won't do it again. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
do think it's to like kind of like, force him to not actually take the fight. But I just think Canelo and Charlo are gonna fight on the 30th. I mean, Canelo does like to fight at the end of the year again, so potentially he could be in the ring with Canelo in December opposed to Errol Spence. So it does seem like maybe that's his game plan. Do you think that's what he's doing, or do you think there's another angle here?
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. If I'm being honest, like he's just trying to like he's no longer interested in that rematch. He's like, well, if you're gonna fight me, then we're gonna fight in these same conditions. Now I know he came out and said that was written in the contract, but Terrence, you came out during the post conference and you said out your own mouth the rematch can definitely happen at 154 because 147 is hard for you to make, right? So
Yeah,
come on now, let's not play these games. Just be
yeah,
honorable and just have some integrity and just be real. Mean what you say what you mean. Just say,
yeah.
hey, you know what? Honestly, I'm no longer interested. If he wants to make the weight, we're just gonna have to do it at 147 since that's where the fight originally happened. And you're good because you are the shot caller at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
definitely, I would have to say that probably makes the most sense. He's just trying to, and I think it's probably going to be an easier fight. I think he understands that 147 is hard for Errol Spence to make. And if he had that type of dominant performance at 147 already, he can probably replicate it to a degree and he has all the advantage as opposed to kind of moving up, at 154. Don't know if it's going to make a drastic change in Errol Spence's performance to make it a tougher fight. That's also going to take something out of him. So he's probably like, nah, let me just kind of make this as easy as possible for me. And then best case scenario, Errol don't fight me. And then I can just fight the winner of Charlo and
Yeah.
Canelo.
And I do also remember at that post-fight press conference, Terrence saying, "Nah, he's like, nah, I'm gonna give him the shot if he wanted because he gave me the shot." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I remember that when they were talking about the whole 154 thing. But yeah, I can see that as well. Like I'm sure Terrence is confident in himself. Like, listen, I'm gonna beat Errol at 147. I'm gonna beat him at 154. I'm sure he has that confidence. But there, what you said made a little bit of sense. There's a degree of unknown with the whole 154 thing, right? Because I think even Terrence stated he didn't see the fight going the way it went. So it's like, all right, you know what? Either do it again under the same conditions, and then, or maybe he like, I don't want those conditions. But I do think Errol's like a roadblock for him right now, and he's looking for like the payday, Canelo term.
Payday.
He's looking for the payday, and just maybe even to him, I know he's a supreme competitor, maybe just something that he think will be a bigger challenge to himself, not only so the legacy, the money, and perhaps a bigger challenge to himself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying a rematch won't be competitive between Errol. No one knows what's going to happen, but I can see Bud saying, "Nah, it's not going to be competitive." You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% agree. So,
Yeah.
we'll I guess we'll wait and see, what happens, So, people in the comment section definitely let us know. Is Terrence Crawford justified in requesting that the rematch happens at 147? Do you know why he's doing it at 147, right? And if there will be any changes if they decide to fight at 147, right? So leave your comments below.